Selenium are basically hands-on techies. So you can ask any level of questions to them, and so get the best out of them. And also from the session 2 onwards, we will give you some assignments at the end of the session. Today's is more of a theory and installation of Selenium, but session 2, you will have more in-depth study on how to use Selenium. So we will give you some exercises and assignments which you can practice during the week and submit in the email provided. And next session onwards, from session 2 onwards, we will start the session with a recap quiz. That means whatever you have heard today, you will have some quiz questions for first 5-10 minutes of every day, so that you will get connected to what was taught in the previous session. So you go through the slides. These sessions will be recorded, and the recording will be made available to you through G Drive. So you can go through the session again and again if you have any doubts, and practice the assignments, and that's how you need to learn this subject. Also, a few do's and don'ts to make the best of these sessions. So I encourage all of you to join 5 minutes before the call and be on mute. Today, we see around 70 people before time. That's very good. And I encourage all of them to be on time and be on mute so that it is not disturbed. And also do not ask any questions during the session. So after the session break, between the theory and practical, we can take a 5 minutes bio break, and you can punch in your question in the chat window. And those will be answered during the practical as well as during the QA session. To get maximum benefit out of this, attend all sessions and be serious in learning the tool. And do the assignments given. If you just listen and forget and then again join the next session next week, it may not give you the best results. So if you really want to learn Selenium, if you want to really understand all the concepts and get ready for the market, so you need to do the assignments, focus on learning Selenium through some web trainings or through some books, ebooks. So, whatever you have learned, recap during the week and do the assignments that will help you to get a good grip on Selenium. Also, we also want you to send your feedback to us. Apart from this Selenium, anything else you want to learn. We want to cater to the needs of the market, not just what we think. So if you want to learn, say, data science, or if you want to learn, say, Scrum training, or you want to learn web design, so you feel free to send the feedback. Okay, these are the current hot topics in the market. Can you provide a training for us? So we will plan out all our trainings in future. So as most of you know, this is the first of its kind. We are starting with this initiative, and we want to see the feedback from the ground so that we will tune our programs accordingly. And you have to tell what you want to learn, what is going good, what is not going good, what can be improved. And your feedback is very important for us to partner with each other and to improve these programs. So it's very, very important that we work together in partnering and getting the best out of it. Also, I encourage, if any one of you have a special skill and you want to contribute to these programs, you are more than welcome. Please reach out to our InterSkill team, and they will help you and take your help in designing the programs. Also, I want to make you aware that we have several programs lined up after the Selenium. We are planning to have some WordPress, web design, some trainings on Scrum, some on Salesforce.com, and few other things in line. So it's going to be very, very interesting. To make it more interesting, to make it more useful to all of us, we want your feedback and 100% participation in all the sessions. So with that, I also thank the InterSkill team who has come up with this idea and have worked several weeks behind the scene to bring this to this shape. And we want your feedback, your help also to improvise, so that together as the community in the software industry, we help each other As we know that there are a lot of job losses outside, there's a lot of threat to our jobs. So we are living in the days where the fittest will survive, the survival of the fittest. So it is important that we all equip ourselves, keep ourselves fit technically, keep ourselves fit personally, and then move forward in the challenges that we have. So together, I feel that we can make it good session for all of us and mutually beneficial to all of us. With that note, I once again thank Ebi and Suman, who have taken time off from their busy schedule. We have come forward to help us in learning this Selenium. And so over to Ebi. And thank you once again for participating. And with the help of our coaches, we are sure that we will learn some deep technical skills that will be useful for our professional growth. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ebi. Over to you, Ebi.
Thanks, Aryan. So I hope everyone is able to hear me. So before I start, thank you all for making this making up to this session. So let's all together learn, take best out of this session. So let me share my screen.
Ebenezer, can you be a little louder? You don't know.
Yeah, okay. Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay, I'm just sharing my screen. Just let me know if it is okay. Okay, so thank you. I think everyone is able to see my screen. So together, this entire this session would be divided as Ravi said that this entire session will be of 5 sessions. So I'll just, before I kickstart with the actual details into the Selenium, maybe I'll just give you a heads up of just a couple of minutes of heads up of what we are gonna see in the 5 sessions, in the upcoming 5 sessions starting today. So in this session one, we'll just see what is automatic functional testing. So how Selenium complements the functional testing or regression testing in a traditional way, and what is its significance currently in the market, and how it is really becoming powerful, and what are the silent futures, and a basic Selenium architecture, or what is Selenium and all. And probably I'll just walk you through the installation of various tools that you need to install, maybe Selenium WebDriver, and then based on the browser that we use, each browser will have its own .exe file. So the installation of that, probably if you want to know about Eclipse, the editor that you wanted to use, I'll show you that as well. So this all covers in the in this session one today. So this is the agenda. Probably if we finish early, probably we can take questions and discuss on this. So basically, this is part of today's session, and maybe the second session that we are going to cover will have some in-depth of we'll try to understand some more details of Selenium WebDriver. What is actually a Selenium WebDriver, and what all as a initial beginner learner, what all we need to learn, what all we need to know to make ourselves comfortable to go ahead with automation testing using Selenium. So after that, some default methods, API methods provided by Selenium WebDriver, and what are basic things that we have to know before we start coding. And maybe then we'll start with the actual automating a simple test cases or simple test cases in a real time. So that will start with the second in the second session. And in the third session, probably we will try to learn some web element methods, and then locators. Probably everyone knows, right? Like Selenium is automates the web browsers yeah, by recognizing the objects on the browser. So how to locate those objects on the browser? So what are the different techniques that we have that is possible through Selenium to identify those objects? So what are the different locators, and what is a JUnit framework? We call it we call it as a JUnit framework and TestNG framework. Of course, JUnit is a subset of TestNG. So what are the different annotations or predefined methods that this JUnit provides, and of course TestNG provides? How in real time, how they will use it, and how this make a tester job, an automated tester job, comfortable. So we will learn probably in the third session about more about JUnit and TestNG. Of course, this locators plays a major role in working with Selenium. And then moving on to fourth session, it is how the synchronization. When I say synchronization, it is all about the with how to handle the dynamic web elements or Ajax and all. It's basically about the concept of wait and synchronization. What is implicit wait and explicit wait and fluent waits? So what are the different techniques through which we can handle an object? When I say an object, a simple object, a dynamic object, or an Ajax controller, an Ajax controller object, or even a pages. So this is all those things can be covered as part of synchronization and automation of various objects. And of course, we can learn about the different frames. These days, like we can see like many ads popping up like in a website. So few of them will be of frames, and you can see a banners and all. So that topics will be covered as part of session 4. And finally, it is about the session 5, where we will try to deal with the try to automate or try to understand how to automate the alerts for prompts and confirmations. And probably we will get to know more about action class, what is an action class, where it is really needed, and parameterization and all these things. So these are so this is the final session. So here we did not cover something beyond just maybe how to build a framework or something like that. So these are all basics of Selenium. Probably if we know all these things, if we try to understand and try to learn the concept of all these things, what we have discussed in the what we have so far discussing in these 5 sessions, probably this will be the stepping stone to kickstart Selenium and to get into the market and start working. So when you start working, probably you're learning through learning by working, and then you make your hands dirty, and then you'll try to master on Selenium. So these are basic things that I wanted to show before I actually go ahead with today's session. To give you a brief idea how this particular a skill program is structured. So basically, this skill program is structured from technical point is like more of a basics kind of considering a layman who doesn't know anything about Selenium but truly have an interest to learn Selenium. So in that perspective, we have constructed this particular syllabus. And based on this, if these foundations, we can consider all these concepts as a foundation. If these foundations are truly strong, and if you can really truly learn with understanding, then probably we can. I can assure that we can definitely build on the top of it to scale higher heights. So just as I said before we begin Selenium first session. So I'll just give a brief like intro kind of how what is a market and how is the actually an SDL. Most of us know. I'll not take much time over here. See where selenium actually comes into picture in an SDLC or SDLC. Okay, so we know design and analysis. These are the different as here there is a design and analysis and review and like a so safe and a test case and automations and deploy. And of course these days we have an agile methodology and which is being penetrated fastly in most of the projects. We don't know nowadays, even in the agile methodology, they are trying to implement in sprint we're trying to bring selenium functional testing in the name of in sprint automation. So generally where selenium comes into picture so far, traditionally so far the automation itself, be it any tool, either UFT or selenium or some XYZ. Previously these automation was in place to automate the regression scenarios. Whenever there is in a testing, as soon as a build is deployed, a smoke test and a regression test where they run it manually. They try to test whether this particular build is successful or not by a stipulated in place a set of test cases. Call it as a smoke test case or call it as a regression test case. If those particular test cases are running by either a developer or a tester, once they feel all those test cases they are being executed successfully, then they call it as a build is successful. It is a go ahead, like a green signal. But previously these particular smoke test cases which are repeatedly used, they considered that has potential for automation and they have automated thus far. When I say a test case that gets repeated at various steps, so they wanted to take a return on investment. So for example, a particular application or a particular thing, a particular project has a set of some 20 releases. So in the 20 releases, they try to build a tester try to see the potential end-to-end scenarios, on to call it as a smoke or regression scenarios. And these smoke or regression scenarios, maybe they call it maybe we can have some 5 or 10 or 15 based on the criticality of the application. So these, after each and every build, they try to run this particular test cases so as to health check the application, the latest build. So what the traditional thing is like, they will try to automate this particular smoke or regression test cases. And these days it is like a CI/CD pipeline kind of, and they will, as soon as a build is triggered, what happens, Jenkins automatically triggers the either UFT or Selenium test scripts. So this particular Selenium or UFT test scripts, they get executed on the latest bit and publish the reports, and based on reports it gives us the recommendation. So what I wanted to make a point out of this is, so far smoke and regression test cases were automated. That is the way Selenium or any automation tool complements the real-time testing without human errors, and of course it can be run without manual intervention. When I say that, it can be run overnight. That is how this automation testing is giving a return on investment for the project, and it is error free, and it has a very sophisticated reporting structures, as I told you, like TestNG framework and JUnit framework. And on the top of it, there are many, since Selenium is an open source, we have a latest frameworks available in the market where it is just a plug-in and play kind of, wherein sophisticated result publishing mechanisms are in place. So which is giving a very ease for the projects to implement this Selenium, and thus Selenium is gaining like what to say, a good RAPO, and also ease to get implemented. And this is what so far traditionally been followed as Selenium as a testing tool, as a functional testing tool to automate, or UFT as a functional testing tool to automate smoke and regression scenarios. But in the current trend, in the latest trend, in the current trend, what is happening is not just smoke and regression testers are automated, but automation is getting penetrated even in agile methodology. As you know, agile methodology is every sprint will be in a span of 3 weeks, and in this span of 3 weeks, they wanted to automate not just QA activities, but even development activities which are part of like unit testing, naming them as a in-sprint automation. Why I'm trying to make this point out is this is the significance in the current market, in the current trend about the latest about the automation, and of course Selenium significance in the current market. So this is the entire cycle where like automation became a true step for the entire circle to be complete. So yeah, so we just saw what is the significance, like where exactly we need where exactly there is a scope for an automation, consider maybe the UFT or Selenium, whatever it is, where exactly in SDLC there is a need for automation. So we have seen that's what that is like where smoke and where some repetitive actions are being taken. So we are trying to automate that to make sure there is no human errors, and also once it is automated, so no manual testing is needed, and it can be triggered automatically, and it can be we can save time by running those scripts overnight. And all these are very and also we have seen the we have discussed about the powerful resulting mechanisms. So this is the way automation fits. This is the way the gap is, and how automation complements that particular gap through the powerful tools, and of course Selenium being the powerful and open source tool. So now UFT is there, Selenium is there, Silk Test is there. There are many other Chainnet like that. There are many other tools in the market. How Selenium differentiates, how Selenium outstands them, or of course every tool has its own pros and cons. Okay, so how Selenium is capable of complementing complementing in such a way that currently in the market it outstands, and it is a I would say that it is a most sorted tool. It is just that if a person is capable of playing with Selenium, I'm sure he'll be easy to find a job in the current market if he is really able to play with Selenium. Because the first and most important thing of Selenium, a silent feature or benefit I would say, is like Selenium is an open source tool. Probably if you are really interested about this automation, you can Google it. Before Selenium came into the market, or before Selenium became a popularized tool, there was a powerful tool which is an UFT, which is there from I would say decades, even from almost 91 I think, which has been widely used. When I say widely used, top US banks were using it, this right from I think, as far as my knowledge, from 91. So it's almost 2 decades. Such, and that UFT is still there in the market, and currently it is being used also as well. So but having those established tools in the market, Selenium has got a very very high significance if we compare today. The first and foremost thing about Selenium that we can really talk about is it is an open source tool. It is an open source. When I say it is an open source tool, no licensing cost is attached to it. But when we compare this particular Selenium with like a previous existing established, I would say, tools, that is UFT. UFT license cost is not, it is, I would not say it is just a licensing cost of UFT. It is a huge licensing cost that we need to pay for UFT. Probably if you are interested, you can search it in the Google. What is the licensing cost for UFT? If we consider some 10 systems or 10 like if you want 10 licenses like to run in 10 systems if you want to run simultaneously. So first thing is Selenium is really straightforward. It is an open source tool, and probably anytime anyone just can go to the particular selenium.hd.org onto that particular website, and you can just go there and you can directly download it. So it is very accessible wherever there is an internet. I would say Selenium is available. Just that as Java became what to say, platform independent because of the availability of internet over C language. That is how Java came into the market as a powerful programming language, because of one of its most powerful characteristic, that is platform independence. Selenium also follows the same path. So it is just open source. It is available at the wherever there is an internet. Just that's it. It is just a plugin and play. Just download it and just use it. That's all. There is nothing of a registrations or licensing cost or nothing as such. It is just, I would say, it is most reachable to everywhere around the world in the all the parts of the the world. So this is one of the most powerful future that made everyone to look towards it. And second thing, and this is also very important thing. It supports, Selenium supports not just one programming language. It supports multiple. It's almost 6 to 7 programming languages. And one of the most, it thing, as most of us know, we are comfortable basically with Java, and of course with Python and JavaScripting, C#, Ruby, and Perl. So these are all the different languages in which you can write your code. You can write your Selenium test cases. What are the test scripting that we will do in the upcoming sessions? We will write them in Java. So basically, in this session, we will take as Java as a reference, and we will work with Java. But if anyone, if really they are interested, so one of the silent future of Selenium is like it supports other languages, that is Python and JavaScripting as well, and C#, Ruby, Perl. So this is how Selenium made a market to attract towards it by these unique features. When you see a UFT, so far UFT just a year ago till I think UFT was supporting only VB scripting. Now I think UFT also supports, just I think LeanFT supports. LeanFT is a subset of UFT which supports Java, but otherwise it does not support all the other programming languages. Whereas Selenium supports all these listed down programming languages. So this is also one of the powerful future that we need to know, and that in real time that we will practice. And of course, as one of the important things of Selenium before we discuss about the third future is Selenium is basically a testing tool, an automation testing tool to automate the browser actions. We need to understand this. Selenium alone on its cannot automate a window-based applications. Selenium automates only browser-based applications. And of course, I will tell you how this gap is again fulfilled. Automating a window-based, I'll tell you that even that is achieved now to a major extent. Currently, but in the starting stage, I would say about Selenium is Selenium is just is an automation testing tool that automates only browser actions. and applications that can be accessed through various browsers. And the compatibility of Selenium with the browser is it supports almost most of the browsers that are there in the market. So Selenium automates it supports working on Chrome browser and Firefox browser and Safari and Internet Explorer, Opera, and Edge. So I think these are the major browsers that are there in the market. Any major application that really needs automation definitely will be hosted. Definitely will be can be accessed through these browsers. So, but how it actually just one more point about this, instead of just saying Selenium supports all these browsers. So how it supports, how Selenium WebDriver supports all these browsers. So each and every browser, be it a Chrome browser or the Firefox, every browser has one .exe file. We call it as a Selenium server driver, or if it is a Firefox, we call it as a decode driver. If it is an Internet Explorer, we call it as an Internet Explorer driver server. So like that, which is available on the net. For every browser, we have a .exe file, which actually has all the methods or all the actions that we can perform that we wanted to perform on that particular browser. All those methods have been implemented in one .exe file, and that .exe file will be invoked by Selenium WebDriver interface. So that is how Selenium became itself comfortable, was able to achieve working on all the almost all major browsers. I will, maybe if you do not understand this concept, that's fine. I will, when we start working on one or two scripts, you'll be able to understand. Once we step more into it, we will try to understand more about this. So this is how Selenium made itself comfortable, like achieving working on all the different browsers. This is how a single script can be run. A single script that we have built it, either independent of a browser, can be run on a different browsers. This is how browser compatibility testing is enhanced through Selenium. This is one of the key feature that enabled Selenium to achieve browser compatibility testing. So moving on to the fourth one is of course, Selenium supports multiple operating systems. Yes, Selenium can we can work using Selenium on Windows. It supports Mac and Linux and Unix. So each has its own jar files. It is just that we go to the Selenium website and download the Selenium jar files corresponding to the the various operating system. In Windows we have 32-bit and 62-bit. So it is just that we go and download. I think in Windows, if you wanted to download, it will be a Selenium jar. That's it is just, I think, not more than 7 MB. So Selenium supports not just multiple browsers, and it supports multiple platforms as well. Multiple platforms. When I say platforms, it is Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Mac, and Unix. And this is how Selenium achieved a platform testing as well. So if I write one test case, I can run the same test case without any modification. I'm not telling how to run, how to do that. That is achieved by, there is a component called Selenium Grid. I will tell you, we'll talk about it. But without any modification, if we write one single test case in Java or in a basic format, we can, without any modification, we can run that particular test case on different operating systems. That is how, especially in a gaming platform, in a gaming application, this plays truly a major role actually, and of course in banking applications as well. So this is how Selenium. These are the unique features of the Selenium that really attracted the market. Moving on to the the other future of Selenium is I just we have I just coded as a seamless integration. So Selenium easily can get integrated with the established frameworks in the market. So when I say framework, yeah, it is TestNG, JUnit, and the TestNG. What is TestNG? What is JUnit? As of now, you need to just understand that these are another futures, maybe a future of reporting style, or maybe a future that can ease writing test cases. As of now, try to understand just to that extent. We will get to know in depth as we move on to the subsequent sessions. We will know more about what is TestNG, what is JUnit frameworks. CI/CD tool, that is Jenkins, and build it on Maven, and Docker or GitHub. It is a like where we it is a repository tools kind of. So Selenium can easily be integrated in the latest trend of the CI/CD tools in the market, and thus taking the advantage of CI/CD tools as well. So that is how Selenium made comfortable, and Selenium outstands all the existing what to say existing tools that are in place. So, and finally, but not least, but the very important thing of the one of the future of Selenium is like it supports parallel test execution, using the Selenium grid. So, using Selenium grid, a single test case can be simultaneously at a single instance at any point of time. A single test case can be run simultaneously on a different platforms, on a different systems. So this is one of the unique feature, and which is most sorted after feature in the real time. So we will learn more about this as well in the coming sessions. So if we want to discuss more about features, definitely there are more features about Selenium that we can discuss of, but just to for the more important things that I have consolidated, along with our team, I think these are the things that probably we thought we can really discuss and make good out, and proceed with the other things, subsequent things. So these are the different features that makes Selenium outstand with the other automation tools that are there in the market. So basically, Selenium is not just a tool. Selenium is not just a tool as compared to the existing other tools. If we see UFT is a tool. It is just one tool. Like it is, everything is there in the tool. But Selenium is not like that. Selenium is a set of tools. That's why sometimes it is called as Selenium suite. They call it as a Selenium suite. It is a bunch of tools, together call it as a Selenium. So when actually Selenium introduced in the market, when it was first introduced, Selenium was just came out of a tool like to automate some browser actions on this Firefox. So basically, that time this Selenium IDE was in place. So now it is obsolete. It is no more. But what is Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE is a record and playback browser tool. Record and playback browser Firefox tool. It works only on Firefox. Where it try to record when you do some when you hit the record button, and you do manually. When I say manually, access a URL, and once the login page is there, you provide input as username and password, and hit on the login button. So all these actions that we perform on the browser, all these actions were recorded using Selenium IDE, and after once the record is completed, it gets saved automatically the code is written in the backend on the IDE, and we can rerun those lines of code to perform that particular login operation and again. So this was a browser record and playback tool, Selenium, which is restricted, limited only to Firefox browser. But slowly later, so in order to achieve this, so there was another module which is a Selenium RC, which is again a server kind of. Initially, when Selenium, when they try to automate this particular, when they try to automate this browser actions, they for this to achieve, I'll not tell in depth because we do not need that concept anymore. Just to give you a heads up how Selenium evolved in the beginning stage. There was a server. So in order to mimic the server in the same system, Selenium component or say remote control component was invented so as to mimic the control that it is interacting with the remote server. Even though even though we are trying to automate in a single system, in a same system on the same browser, we are trying to interact. But to make, what the Selenium does is the internal concept is like whenever there is a request that is sent onto the browser, it goes to the server. So to mimic that, in one line, the Selenium RC was in place. But it is no more. It is there. It is now clubbed with the Selenium WebDriver. So the Selenium WebDriver is basically an interface. Is just an interface where it tries to extend the methods with all the different browser drivers, so as to achieve some operation on the browser. So we will learn more about the Selenium WebDriver, and of course Selenium Grid is another a tool which is in place, which is a tool will help Selenium WebDriver to perform to execute test cases parallelly on different platforms and of course on different browsers at any single instance of time. So that is how Selenium Grid is useful. So Selenium is a set of tools which consists of IDE, RC, and WebDriver initial and Grid. So moving on, the Selenium set of tools about. Initially, when Selenium Suite was there, as we discussed in the previous slide, it was Selenium ID, Selenium RC, and Selenium, yeah, of course, WebDriver, Selenium Grid. So after that, what happened? This Selenium ID is no more because it was restricted only to Firefox. So now browser compatibility is there with all the, so that is not practiced anymore and it's not required. And after that, this Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver are both merged together, and they have released a new version named as Selenium 2. And post that, the Selenium 2 was again improvised and released a new version in the name of Selenium 3. And I just kept it till here itself. But in the current market, if we, as of today, there is one more new version of Selenium, that is Selenium 4, but it is not yet released into the market. Some beta testing is going on. Yeah, if you can go through Selenium website, selenium.ht.org, you can see that it is not officially released into the market. Some beta testing is going on, wherein some advanced locators, some new features were added into the Selenium 4. Basically, as of today, most of the market, if anyone is using, they use Selenium 3. So this is basically what is Selenium kind of. What is a Selenium? What is the Selenium? Just an overview or knowledge of what are the different set of tools of Selenium. So just moving on. Yeah. So yeah, basically this is a Selenium structure. I'll try to explain you when we try to see work with one with test scripts. Otherwise, you will not understand much. But so how this happens is once on the left hand side, if we see Selenium client a library, we can choose any particular language. So in that language, what will happen once we take that particular, if we choose particular Java, so in that particular browser, what will happen is to explain more about this, I have one more slide. One second. Yeah. So the same thing I just made a like more understanding in the real time understanding kind of. So this is about the Selenium architecture. This is how a Selenium probably if you can really understand out of today's session, if you can really understand, try to make some out of this slide. This will be a basis for for Selenium to learn. So as you have seen here, in the left hand side, there is test system that is considered that is as our test computer, our system. And in that system, first we need to have JDK, Java, because we are considering in this session Java. If you are going with Python, that's fine, go ahead with Python. So based on your comfortability of the programming language, you can take that. In this session, we are taking Java. So make sure that you have a Java. So once you have a Java, try to download Eclipse IDE. Based on your comfort, there are a variety of versions of Eclipse. So you can download the latest version and have that in place. And after that, third thing that we need to have to work is like Selenium WebDriver. So Selenium WebDriver, how we can download. I will probably like our moderators, either Sudhir or someone will send you the links if you need it. From where we have to download the Selenium WebDriver. I'll show you that if required. So this is the place where we actually download Selenium Selenium JAS. So and based on different languages, we can download here. When you download it, it will just get downloaded like this. It is just a zip file, and in this zip file, if you can see all the jar files. These are the different jar files. So you need to we need to add all these jar files to our project. I'll show you that how to add all those jobs. So basically, at this point of time, you need to know that before we set up a system, before we set up a Selenium, before we start working, we need to download Selenium jar files like in line with the programming language that we choose from internet. So once after we download the Selenium WebDriver jar files and add it to our project. So we need a third thing we need to fourth thing that we need to download is like for example, if we choose working with Chrome, like we need to download Chrome driver server. It is just a .exe file. We can download it from the same website. I'll provide you the URL. So once we have that, even that as well, so that's it. Our system is all set to start automation. So basically, the architecture how it lies is, so once we have JDK, once we have Eclipse, and we have Selenium WebDriver JAS configured, and we have a browser, we have a Chrome browser, and for a Chrome browser we have one.exe file. That also even that file is nothing but a set of jar files. Even So you will try to add even that particular jar files. So once we have everything in place, what will happen is probably we will try to we have chosen maybe a Gmail. Consider a Gmail. We want to just automate. Maybe we want to automate some login operation. A login example. So how Selenium architecture works is, what happens is you write some lines of code in Selenium here. Okay, so you write some Selenium lines of code. What when you run this particular test case, what happens? This Selenium WebDriver interface, Selenium Selenium WebDriver interface, what will happen is it will try to invoke. It will try to invoke the browser. It will try to invoke the browser provided .exe file, browser provided .exe file, wherein all the methods implementation would be available. So now what will happen is in that particular browser, that particular method will try to read, for example, .get is a method. .get method, what it will do, it will try to launch the application. It will try to launch the URL. So what will happen when this particular Selenium driver invokes using the .get method, when it try to invoke the browser, like a browser, that implementation will be there in this particular browser method in that particular browser. So in that particular browser.exe file, when that implementation is there, how it works is this browser will try to contact the server. Will try to contact the server. A request will be sent to the server. So now what will happen is this particular server will take the input, will take the request and process it and returns back. When it returns back, when the server returns back its response, till here, what will happen is this browser will wait. By default, without any external adding waits or whatever, by default browser will wait till it receives a response from the server. So once a response is received to the browser, to load whatever the response that the server has been given, it will take sometimes it is instantaneous. Sometimes what happens is it takes time for the page to get loaded. Even though browser has received the response from the server, it takes a few seconds more, sometimes more time to get loaded. That time actually Selenium WebDriver will not wait. Once a response is received from the server, by default Selenium WebDriver thinks that I'm ready, I can go ahead. So that is how it will like wait and all synchronization things comes into picture. So this is and once this is loaded, once this page is loaded, Selenium again will try to do operations on that particular application, on that particular once Gmail link is loaded. Then we'll try to do some operation that we will try to input some data and click on login, and again a request is sent to the server, and the response is received from the server. So this is something, the basic architecture, basic outline architecture, how control is passed from Selenium WebDriver to the browser.exe, how browser.exe in turn sends a request, a JSON request or HTTP request to the server, and how the server is responding back, and where the lagging time is, and how the wait by default waiting is happening by the Selenium driver, and how by default it is not waiting, how Selenium is assuming even though page is not completely loaded, but still Selenium assumes that page is loaded. This is the basic architecture, how Selenium truly works in the backend. So probably if you can understand this in line with one example, truly that makes more, that gives more clarity. if tomorrow when you go to some interview, or when you try to assess one particular any test case, this learning or this particular diagram learning, this concept, I would say, this will definitely complement to understand the script or to explain a concept to a person. For example, a real-time question will be like this. A real-time question: what is the need of explicit weight? Or they will just try to they will just ask like this: does Selenium supports the Selenium support explicit weight? If it supports, where exactly its need is there? Where exactly its need is there? Then we can just immediately say that Selenium explicit weight is needed for the object for the objects, for the page to get for the objects to get loaded successfully completely on the web page, but not for the response to get received from the server. Selenium by default waits for the server response. No need of explicit wait kind of. So this is how and this is how we code also. When you try to code, you'll code accordingly. For example, I'll just give you one step more. If you don't, if for example, if a page loads, if a page takes more time to get loaded, even though a browser received response from the server, but still page is not loaded, it is getting time. But your Selenium WebDriver, you did not have an explicit wait on it. Your Selenium WebDriver, even though that a particular text box, that is username, is not loaded on the Gmail, but still it is trying to go and write something onto that onto that particular text field. During that time, when you try to access that particular text field, what it says like stale element error, or element not found exception. We call those as exceptions, right? So yeah, so stale element means even though that particular object is refreshed or it is not there, especially when an object is refreshed, text we get such errors, such exceptions. We just receive an exception stating that element is not found, element not available exception. Such exceptions gets popped up, and the execution gets failed. So this is the basic overview of an architecture, working architecture of a Selenium, how it try to interacts with the browser, and in turn it interacts with the server through various protocols: JSON, HTTP, HTTP request and server request and response. So probably you try to understand this. I would say this is a very simple thing. It is nothing of Greek and Latin that it is beyond our comprehension. But even though it is simple, but I would say it is a foundation to understand, to move ahead with the subsequent sessions to understand more about Selenium. So this is the basic architecture of the Selenium. So the same thing is given over here. How the JSON protocol is there, and how HTTP server is there, how HTTP server response is back to the server. So this is something about the grid, as we the fourth component of the like Selenium set, as we discussed. So this is just the Selenium grid. It is a hub. It is a server, I would say, where we have a nodes. We call it as a node 1, node 2, node 3, and some on a server we have a different nodes, different set of systems, test systems. So on the hub, on the server, we will try to install the Selenium grid. So using that Selenium grid, we will try to invoke the same test case on the different nodes. So now the different nodes would have a different OS based on the need of the need of the testing. So we will have, so the same test case will be run on the different watershed nodes. So this is the unique concept, I would say again, because this feature was not available in the existing tools in the market. before Selenium arrived. So when I say Selenium arrived, go to the go to UFT. At any particular instance, you can run only one instance of UFT. You cannot do multiple things with UFT. But whereas with Selenium, you can do that. So of course, through different mechanisms, something like grid and all. So yeah, after this, Selenium. You can install various tools. I will. I think I have something. Let me. So I'll share like different links that I have in place. Like how to download the Selenium, Eclipse, and Gecko. If you want to work with Firefox, it is a Gecko. We call it as a Gecko driver, and I'll share with Sudhir. Probably he can help you out so that probably today you can, since it is a Saturday, if you mostly everyone would have time, try to install these particular things and try to create one small test case. I will just show you in the using editor. So this is Eclipse workspace IDE. So once you have everything, I just removed everything here. So once you have installed this Eclipse, so what you can do, you can just create a new project. Just create a new project. Once after you install like Eclipse, go to the other. If we wanted a Java project. So in this, you can just select Java project and just click on this. In this, it will ask you where the default location that you would like to give, and make sure you select 1.8. Here, make sure you select 1.8, and both should be 1.8, 1.8, just to avoid unnecessary like the latest compatibility issues. So just give the project name. So once you give the project name and just click on a finish, you'll have something called whatever the name that you give, it will be popped up over here. On the particular on this particular thing, you need to create a package. Once you create a project, first is a Java project, then you create a package. Just give the package name. Inside the package, we will create inside the package. Right click on it. This is the package. Once you create a project, all this would be there. So once you create a package on this particular project, you need to create actual .java file. Okay. So so this is the .java file. So once after you the basic setup goes like this. So once you have an Eclipse in place, create one Java project and right click on it. Click on the properties. On the properties, click on Java build path. Click on Java build path. In the Java build path, you will have a different tabs, source, projects. Go to the libraries. So I have added, initially I have nothing over here. What you have to do is, initially nothing would be there here. Just open this, just click on this add external jars, and I have downloaded everything from here. So I marked this as a Selenium files. So this is my Chrome.exe, Chrome, which supports Mint32, and IE driver SE, and this is the where all Selenium are there. And when I unzip it, everything would be there. Inside this, it would be there, all these files. So select everything, Control A, just open it. So this gets added, and once it gets added, you can see like getting displayed over here under the libraries, tab. Okay, just click on like properties, Java build path, and libraries, and add external jars. Add external jars. So and just give apply and close. So when you give apply and close, once it is successful, you can see here. You can see here under the reference libraries, you can see all the jar files getting displayed over here. Initially, not everything would be there. So this is how you can see, and you can download the testng jar files. So download only just 4 would be there, and once you add them, you can it gets displayed. It gets displayed over here. So this is how you can configure. Once you configure this, once when I say configure, once you add all the files that you have downloaded, it is nothing else like when compared to the others, C and all something. As you go there and do some like configuration from command prompt, there is nothing like that. Just download Eclipse and create a project. Make sure before you download Eclipse, make sure Java is there. And once Java is there, go to the command prompt and click on Java to make sure that Java is there. Java is successfully installed. Once Java is successfully installed, only then you will be able to create a Java project here. Otherwise, you will not be shown the Java project. And in that drop down menu also, you will not be able to see the SE8. In this drop down menu, you'll not be able to see all these versions if you don't have Java. So just make sure first step is make sure Java is in place, and second thing, Eclipse, you have downloaded Eclipse IDE editor. Maybe you can go with your own any IDE. There are variety number of IDEs in market. Even in Eclipse, you have Neon. Many things are there. Based on your go with the latest version, not latest version, one step down the latest version. That will help you. That will avoid all unnecessary compatibility issues. Post that, try to download all the Java files. When I say all the Java files, first step, try to download Selenium jars. Second thing, try to download testng jars. And after that, try to download Chrome driver jars. So these are the three types of jars that you need to download, and go to the properties, build path, library, click on add external jars, add all the jars, and it gets reflected to make sure that they are successfully added. Just like expand this and see whether all the jars are there or not. Okay, so this is the way to configure to all the jar files with our project. So once our IDE is ready for scripting, then we will start with one demo, one demo kind of. So maybe something small, something like this, a small thing. I will show you how to do all these things maybe in the next session. Or if you want me to just write something, I can write it down, but not required. Just today we'll stick on to what we have planned. Installation we should be able to do successfully, and what is the significance of Selenium, what are the different features that that Selenium has in place and attracted the market, and what are the different what is Selenium, what Selenium consists of, what are the different set of tools Selenium, so when we say Selenium, and what is the basic architecture of Selenium. So I think we have seen all these things in today's session, and probably we can look into some questions to the topics that we have covered thus far. If we have any questions, probably we can ponder upon and discuss.
Yeah, we request you to please type the questions in the chat window. We can take it up. So we can probably, if required, we can take a 5 minutes bio break as well. And then for the last part of the session, we can be back taking up the questions, and also give a heads up for what will be covered in the next upcoming session. And also we request for the attendance sake, request, most of you have done it. If you have not done it, please rename your the display name to your mail ID. That would be helpful for us to share the recording link and also the PPT what has been shared. Yeah, so it will be a 5 minutes by break, and meanwhile, whoever has questions can put down your questions.
Yeah, that will help.
Yeah, yes, Abhi, we can get started.
Okay, sure, Anna. Thank you. So, hope you're able to hear me and also see my screen.
Yes, Abhi, it is visible to us.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Anna. So first question I see there are a couple of questions here. So like we will see one by one. And to all the audience and participants, I would like to say like we do have one more trainer. He's more expert than me, and he's Suman. He will be able to, he will also help us in understanding this, and probably he will also provide the answers as as needed. So the first question is it necessary that I should have the programming skills in various programming languages? So not necessarily. See, it is just giving you, Selenium is giving you more space uh, to, to automate the things in our own comfortable language. If we go to UFT, we have to code only in VB. You have to learn VB and do it. But here, Selenium is a place, no need to learn many more than one programming language. It doesn't mean if it supports more than one, we should learn more than one. It is just that it is an ease for a programmer. If we are good with Java, just go ahead with Java. It provides that flexibility. So is it necessary that you should have a programming skills? Not necessarily. Most of the things that needs to be coded through code, that the logics that needs to be coded through code is already would be provided through various frameworks kind of. So not in-depth programming skills is really needed, but basic is just needed. Basic understanding of the Java is would enough to kickstart this. Maybe a core Java, basic things. When I say basic things, just writing loops, variables, or what is a binding and all, basic things. And one is enough. One programming language is enough. And to be in one word, even a beginner can start with this. No need of in-depth programming languages. Truly, a beginner with interest can kickstart. I'm just scrolling on to the second question. Yeah, can you please repeat the 3 types of jars that has to be downloaded? Yeah, first is Selenium jars. Second is first is Selenium jars. Second is like browser related jars. Browser related jars. When I say browser related jars, if you are working with Chrome driver, a Chrome browser, then it is a Chrome driver jars. If you are working with Firefox, if you want to work with Firefox, then it is a Gecko driver. If we are working with Internet Explorer, then it is IE server driver jars. It is just a .ex. It is a dump kind of where you will find in the internet. I'll share you the links. It is a zip folder. Once you unzip it, you will find n number of multiple jars in it. You have to just associate that particular jars with your Selenium, with your project, with your Java project in Eclipse. And the third thing is TestNG jars. Maybe at this point, TestNG or JUnit jars will be there. You can download that as well. But Selenium Chrome driver is basically needed for, to kickstart. Is it required to have all 3 types of jar added for a simple program to do? Yes, at least 2 are needed. Selenium jars and Chrome driver jars are essential to start. if you want to work something with a browser. No, I just wanted to write some welcome note and all. If you want to just write a welcome program, then probably browser jars are not needed. Only Selenium jars are enough. Selenium or Java is, I think, is enough just to write a welcome program. But if we wanted to really work with a browser, then all these are necessary. What is the scope of Cattle Dawn Studio in the coming years? I'm not sure. Is it a? I think this is also an editor, right? Just like a Visual Studio. See, it is if it is based on our comfort. I just said Eclipse. You can. There are many other IDEs in the market, right? Which supports the same as Eclipse supports. Maybe NetBeans or IntelliJ. There are many other things. There are many other things. You can download anything based on your comfortability. It is not that you should go with only Eclipse. Any IDE that you're comfortable, that you're aware of, but jars are required. The same thing after you download, the remaining procedures will be the same. Downloading of the jars, associating those jars with your project. Yeah, for clearing doubt, whom shall we contact and how? So definitely, if you are practicing something in home and if you wanted to contact then and there itself, I would suggest first, like, have your doubts documented and we can discuss in the session. Probably that will help others as well. Or if you still beyond that, if you still have doubts, you can definitely reach to the moderators, and they will in turn will facilitate to reach out to me and Suman. When I say moderators, it is Sudhir and Joseph. So why Selenium developed separate drivers for each browsers? So it is not that Selenium who developed drivers. It is the browsers, the owners of the browser. For example, Chrome browser is developed by some X person. X person has developed that, but he has given for example, how to understand this is to make it more user friendly or to understand more in depth. For example, when we buy any article, any electronic appliances, for example, if you buy some 55 inches TV, okay, there will be a manual. If you buy some washing machine, there will be a manual given by the manufacturer on how to use it. In the same fashion, whoever developed it is not Selenium, ThoughtWorks or Selenium guy, the Jason who developed this Selenium WebDriver. He did not develop the Chrome. Other browsers are developed by various other people. So when they develop, they gave us some manual kind of, which is nothing but their drivers .exe files, which will have an exact implementation of all the methods that can be performed on that particular browser. For example, a Chrome browser is there. On the Chrome browser, if we have to perform some click operation, .click operation, Chrome browser should support that. The person who manufactured the Chrome browser should be able to interpret when user does .click operation. Browser should able to interpret so as to perform this functionality. So now, when this Chrome browser who developed that guy, all the operation that browser is able to accommodate, it is crisply written in form of methods, and along with the methods being encrypted, and it will be there in that particular jar files, and these jar files are in turn extended by this Selenium WebDriver, being an interface, will try to interact with will call the methods of that particular browser. so as to indirectly interact with the browser. So this is how Selenium became browser independent kind of. It is not just dependent on one browser. That is how it became compatibility with all other browsers. Every browser, it is just as with Java also. How Java became platform independent is Java, where in order to develop a Java code, we will have a JDK. In order to run the Java file, we need a JRE, Java runtime environment. But this runtime environment is not common to everything. Runtime environment is specific to Windows, and it is different to different OS, different to different platforms, because it interprets so as to execute. So in the same way, Selenium as well. It is not Selenium guy who developed the drivers. It is the manufacturer of the browser who gave that as a manual so as for Selenium to interact in and through that, thus making like more compatibility with all browsers. And yeah, let's go with the next thing. Yeah, how are you gonna stay connected? Yeah, definitely moderators will plan of this, how we get connected, either the group email or WhatsApp group or whatsoever. I think they are on the top of it. They will do that. They will maybe moderators will let you know by end of this my session, or they will let you know by the in the subsequent session. Maybe by the end of this session they will be able to answer this. As like Selenium having different versions right now, Selenium 3 is in use. Are there different versions available for Selenium Grid also? Yeah, see, Selenium Grid, good question. Selenium Grid is also, whenever there is a version released, as I explained you, Selenium is a set of tools. When I say Selenium set 3 version, of course, it applies to Selenium Grid also. Its inline version of Selenium Grid also will be there. And please share recorded versions to help download and install. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll send you, moderators will send you the links today. As soon as this session is finished, I have all the links readily available. I will send it to the moderator. Of course, it is also available with moderators. They will send you as soon as this session is finished.
So yeah, maybe a week you can also, anyway we would send the links in the email, but for people who want to just try it immediately, you can ping those links in the chat window to everyone. They can take it up.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. I'll do that. Once I finish reading all this, I'll do that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. So, yeah, request to share all the different topics to be covered for SDET role in a good company. Yeah, request to share all the different topics to be covered for SDET role. So, is this question? I'm assuming this question from interview perspective. Different topics to be covered for SDET. Yeah. See, SDET is nothing but like try to be in a flexible format so as to work try to understand the application right at the beginning, and like start with automation. So how is that like nowadays everyone, even in a common normal tested, they are trying to migrate to SDET, and many companies have already been designated their like candidates as SDETs. The reason is like, as you know, there is a concept of shift left testing in testing. So same way, SDET role is like, previously, like we used to find out what is the using the automation criteria. We used to see what are the different test cases that are being repeated again and again, or what are the different set of question like test cases that are being repeated, and which are potential for automation, something like that, in a traditional way. But now what is happening is, as like a shift left testing, right in the initial phase. When I say initial phase, generally before a developer develops a code as part of any sprint, what happens is the business will give some functional requirement documents or whatsoever documents both to the it will be available both to the developers and testers. Now, as an SDET, what I do is I try to analyze the documents, just kind of a static testing on the documents, and interact with, try to analyze the code, how they develop from coding perspective, from application UI developer perspective, and try to reach out to them. I try to reach out to the developers, get the, for example, just take an example of Gmail. A Gmail page is there. So Gmail page, homepage is going to develop by UI developer. So in the my scenario, what I wanted to automate is login functionality. In that login functionality, I needed user name text field properties, password text field properties, login properties, something like this. So now, of course, the documents provided by the business will be a pictorial format. Everything will be there. Now UI developer start develops. Now what I do is, as a SDET, directly I try to analyze and reach out to the developer right in the development phase. Take the unique properties. When I say unique properties, the HTML ID which a developer uses, right? Take the properties and I will have that as a locators, and I will try to build the code before actual UI is available to me. Okay, this is how we call it as an SDET, as a software developer engineering test. This is how trend is actually currently progressing in the market. It is more of a testing, but it is more of a automation testing, but analyzing and trying to collaborate with development team, and trying to understand the requirements in terms of like code also, and implement the same before actual UI is available.
Yeah, to add to what Ebenezer was sharing, we can do APIs testing before we get the UI delivered to us. We can, that is one kind of shift left testing. We can do testing of the APIs. And for the SDET, SDET should be, I mean, the expectation from the SDET is more than the functional testing. Like, he should be able to do some database testing. He should be good in SQL. And also the expectation would be on the some concepts of performance testing. And also some good programming skills is expected out of SDET. So multiple skills, basically, not just restricted to manual testing, but should be able to deliver on multiple aspects of API testing, database testing, performance testing. So all these good programming skills, all these are expected out of an SDET.
Thanks, Suman. So the next question is like, is the Eclipse IDE is only editor tool? No, as I said, there are many other tools like Visual Studio or IntelliJ. I guess somebody has written IntelliJ. So whichever you're comfortable, based on everything has their own cons, advantages. You can use anything. Can we use another? Yeah, you can use. For Java, we are using Eclipse only to write programs. So I did not get it. For Java, we are using Eclipse only to write programs. Yeah, for writing test cases, we use this Eclipse. Any editor, we can, based on your choice, you can use the editor. Editor is just to write the test cases. Editor tools depends upon program. No, of course. See, like if you are using if you are using some PyCharm, that is for Python. So like there are many things. It is based on our own choice, based on what we are comfortable. Yeah, I will send the links right now. Yeah, here somebody else, there are multiple IDs, correct? Yeah, I will ping you that I have already documented this step-by-step procedure. I will just ping you right now. Which ID is the best? I cannot say which is the best because I did not extensively use every IDE. See, whatsoever is needed for us, I think I would suggest like whatsoever is needed for us, if you can use that, I think that would be enough. Currently, I would say I am using Eclipse normal to 2019 and 2019 and 20 browser editor. I think currently 20 and 21 are also there. You can use anything. That is what I suggest, but it is up to you. Eclipse, Oxygen here. I think it would be great if you repeat again how to add components and Eclipse before start writing. Yeah, I'll show you. And I will I have something ready. I have written step by step as somebody said in the above. I'll copy paste that. I think that will help you. That can help you. Regarding applications other than web-based one, are there any open source tool? Because Selenium is for web-based. No, yes, Selenium is for web-based tools. There are other tools for window-based. Okay, so but again, through Selenium there are some external things auto IT and all. We will let you know even that one also. Using that, we can automate to some extent this window-based as well. We need to know all the Java concepts. Not all. Yeah, at least core Java, I think we need to know. Core Java concepts. It is good to have all the core Java concepts to work with to go ahead deeper into Selenium with Selenium. Yeah, basics is enough. No need to worry about it. It's just that we will try to learn as and when we work with Selenium. APM, which is a wrapper over Selenium, can be used to automate. Yeah, yes, yes. Suman has given. So many people said why testing tools, data science is the best option nowadays. Will you please give me the best answer? How should I react? See, I don't know how to answer for this. It's like see, every avenue it is all. If you would have asked question how if you have compared Selenium with UFT, probably I would have given answer. You are try to compare testing with data science. Even data science need testing. Even in testing is data science as one subset of testing. So it is. I would say it is altogether a different avenue. So it is based on, see, in an institution you will have a different like streams. In our engineering we have computer science, mechanical. There are many other streams. It is based on our interest, our vision. We will take up, but we cannot compare that and this and say this is something inferior or higher. Of course, there is a good significance for data science in the market. At the same time, truly testing is also has a great significance, and of course automation testing, which is going to take a very good which is already in a very higher volume in the market. Definitely it has its own space in the market. Without that, I think it is not possible. Definitely I think it is not a good idea to compare data science with testing. Please specify the essential Java concept that we can learn side by side. Now for those you can learn side by side now for without program. It is just that, see, simple, learn core Java concepts, that's all. You just type it in the Google core Java concept something, that's it. Just to be familiar. But again, as someone said in the, as Sumanana said in the previous messages, no need to be panic. We will learn one by one as simultaneously. Which version to be downloaded? I will give you the version. We will download Selenium 3 version, and the latest you can download for coming to Chrome browser. I'll give you the latest one step down based on the it's like based on the Chrome that you have, the Chrome browser that you have in your laptop. What is the version that you currently have, and its compatible version will be there in the net. So I will give you the link. You can see that compatible version and just click on the download. You'll get it. You'll get the corresponding zip file downloaded. Do you people cover the Java concepts those needed for Selenium? Not explicitly, but we will try to discuss that. We will not cover Java concept explicitly. We will more concentrate on Selenium, but I'll make you comfortable about the programming thing when we when we are working with Selenium. If you want to work with the framework, you need to plug in the testing. TestNG, sorry. Yeah, TestNG itself is one of the framework. JUnit testing TestNG is one of the framework. Definitely, we need to plug in. It is nothing but again, it is a jar file. You just have a set of jar files. We need to just associate these jar files to our project in Eclipse. Based on your system, if your system is having 64-bit, then you can download 64-bit driver line. Yes, correct. Requirement of laptop configuration to install these things. See, there is nothing specific as things. Current basic configuration, basic level of configuration will help. There is it is not like it should have. It is better to have at least some good a basic whatever a general whatever the 4 GB of RAM or the basic configuration would help. There is no specific like only this much configuration of RAM and hard disk and processor. There is nothing specific. Basic general would help, but not inferior to it. Help us to download. I will just copy paste right now. Installation guidelines can be shared. Okay. Yeah, through email. We'll do that. Yeah, Sumanana will share that. Okay. Can we database test access database table and run query to asset expected results? Yes, we can work with this database as well using Selenium. No high configuration needed to work. Okay, Anna has already answered. Can we use Selenium to do database testing? Yeah. I think Anna, yeah, let me just copy paste the one that you people have.
Yeah, Abby, you can put it. I think for all other questions.
Anna, it is Anna actually.
Okay, yeah, yes, correct. For all of the questions, I see Suman has already put down the points.
So thank you all. I'm done, and over to moderator Joseph.
Yeah, thank you all for joining for this first session. We request for any other questions, you can reach back to us in this mail ID, which I am pinging now in the chat box, interskillteam@gmail.com. Please, we would, as much as possible, as we said at the beginning, we are not full time into this. We just want to see how we can help our IT community with the knowledge whatever we have. So you can put down the questions, whatever time we could take and respond back, we will definitely do it. And even otherwise, again, next Saturday, we would be meeting at the same time, 10:30 to 12:30. So we can start with any of the open questions as well. Okay, and also please do share your feedback or any of the other topics that you want to cover in this link, which is again, I've just pinged in the chat window. There's just a one question survey link. You can just put down your feedback, what you think is good, what you think can be improved, so that we can try to accommodate for the upcoming sessions. Okay, we would send across the recording links and the PPT whatever we shared, probably in a day's time, so you can keep looking for it. Anyway, I think Ebenezer is going to share the steps or the links that are required to get the tool installed. So we would request that you can get the tool if you're really are about keen about learning Selenium. You can get it installed in your personal system before you join for the next week session. Then it would be much more interesting and useful, because we would be going into we will be going into detail of writing the scripts and executing it. So that will be more interesting and also learnable. And we don't have any session tomorrow. It's on every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This is planned for the next 4 Saturdays. So keep yourself available. It would be good that if you're part of all the complete 5 sessions as you are here today. And you can also share so to any of your other known people who would be benefited. And we are not doing this as a commercial thing. It is just for people who do not have any exposure or any ways to learn new technology or new skills. This is how we want to help. So you can just share with any of your friends or any other community if they want to just join. Definitely they are they are free to join. And this is the Zoom link. What you have joined today would be the same for the next 4 sessions. And we would also share the same link again in the email. So if you have not registered by any chance in the link which we had shared earlier, the registration link, go ahead and register it. That will be helpful for us to track whoever has registered. And also, I think almost every one of us have changed the name to the email ID. If you have not done it, please do it, because based on this meeting attendance report is what we will share the PPT and the recordings link for the people who have joined today. So if you really want that, please do rename your display name. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I think we are good for today. Thank you all for joining, and see you all next Saturday at 10:30 a.m. sharp. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you all. Anna, Anna, you stop the recording, Anna.
Maybe Joseph has to do that. I think. Joseph, are you there?